It's the Two Strange Podcast.
Okay. Two Strange Men. Another episode of Two Strange Men. Aren't you fucking lucky, eh?
Well, for us, it's quick succession, but for you guys, you've waited a week.
You've waited a week, yeah. And we're just like, bash, 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 bash.
It's the summer, baby. I'm going to Spain. You're doing whatever the hell you're doing.
I'm not going to Spain. Sad.
I've got crazy couple of weeks. I'm working on a film, then going to Spain. Idyllic life. Idyllic life.
Yeah.
I'm
going to complete a broken sword game.
Good. Yeah. We live different lives, folks.
I might have a cup of tea as well.
Yeah. Oh, with a rich tea biscuit.
No, it's too much, mate.
I'll buy you a rich tea biscuit.
Oh,
If that's what's going to make your summer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Like in the hotels when it comes all pre-packaged, it's just like two biscuits. I'll buy you one of them.
Oh, prestige.
Ones. Yeah.
Prestige rich teas.
It's just ones I've stolen from hotels, but don't tell them that.
Yeah. If you're American, you don't know what a rich tea biscuit is. Just imagine the type of...
it's like a Nice biscuit. That's also good.
It's not anything like that either, Tom, so I don't know what you're talking about. Imagine the type of biscuit that you would need to... stave off hunger, but eventually need something to cure the scurvy that you've got because you've eaten these biscuits.
Yeah. It's just flour, isn't it?
It's just flour and water.
Yeah. It's nothing special, but it's an English staple.
It's an English heritage, much like many of these.
It's not mine, because we're in Ohio, baby.
Okay, all right. So we've been going 1v1, V1.
Yeah. So we're back in for me.
Yeah, but we're going to do rock, paper, and scissors. Go on.
You said this was over.
Yeah,
you were like,
but I'm sick
silly.
of this now.
It doesn't make sense.
What's happening is you take half an hour to get through one of yours, and
I've only got one.
Oh, you've only got one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, if that's the case, mine will take about 15 minutes each, and you've got one that take you about half an hour. So I'll do one first, and then you do one,
and then we finish off.
We do a little one at the end.
Go on then.
Yeah. Okay.
Treat yourself.
All right. Okay. So, now I'm just going to talk to you just very briefly about black-eyed children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Children with black eyes or
children with black eyes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a few encounters, and this is one that goes across the pond as well. So black-eyed children can be found in America, and also can be found in the UK as well.
Just Western cultures?
Just Western cultures, but if you think about like the white child from like yokai myth folklore, very similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's a lot more context to the white child, even though he wasn't even featured properly in the yokai encyclopedias and stuff. The black-eyed children are literally like, oh yeah, I saw a black-eyed child. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, that's a bit scary. Yeah, move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. So notice we're establishing that again. Listeners, don't worry, this is interesting. Okay, keep listening.
Yeah. You will be entertained. This is actually a hypnotist podcast. If you just haven't been aware. And
just we're terrible at hypnotizing people.
Yeah. That's our whole bit that we're actually shit at magic.
Okay, so in Abilene, Texas, journalist Brian, and it's interesting that he's a journalist, eh? It's not like he's got an ulterior motive, but never mind. Journalist Brian Bethel parked near a movie theatre in 1996 to write a check. Two boys, aged around 9 and 12, approached his car and knocked on the window. Bethel rolled it down slightly, and the boys asked for a ride home to get money for the movie. But their tone was strange, calm, overly formal, almost robotic. "Please, sir, can I get a ride home to get some money for the movie?" Bethel felt overwhelming dread, as you would.
Can I get a ride home for money for the movie?
Yeah, because they're at a Yeah, near a movie theatre.
Oh, so they forgot they changed.
So yeah, he's parked outside. He felt an overwhelming dread. Then he noticed something. Their eyes were entirely black, pupil to lid. Then he hesitated, and the boys became more insistent, repeating, "We can't come in unless you say it's okay." He sped off in a panic. So yeah, this account became a modern urban legend, birthing countless similar stories online. These black-eyed children are apparently ghoulish creatures who have been trying to gain entrance to homes and vehicles since 1996. So they usually appear at night, knocking on doors or windows and begging to be let inside. They are almost always rejected because an aura of terror clings to them. Yeah. Would you let one in?
Well, I was just thinking about how silly this story was, right?
Yeah.
So, story time for a second.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I hung out with some alternative people.
Yeah.
I had friends from everywhere. I'm a bit of a social butterfly. You know this about me.
Absolutely.
And I had some friends that like to be really alternative. And one day they bought some like full black eye contacts.
Yeah.
Like one of these friends. We were a friend of a friend. And they came. And immediately, the first thing I noticed was their eyes were fully black.
Nice.
Like, when you see someone that has a fully black eye contact, I don't know if anyone you know has ever worn one as part of like a Halloween costume or anything like that.
Well, Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit the guitarist from Limp Bizkit, he often had like the fully black eyes, didn't he?
You immediately can tell. Like
Yeah.
it's a focal point.
Yeah.
You immediately can tell that that's off. He wouldn't be like talking to them and then later notice. You would instantly know.
Yeah.
You would instantly realise they've got black eyes because when you look at someone, when you're visualising the face, you immediately go to the thing that feels wrong. And a full black eye. And trust me, as someone that's seen someone in like makeup with full black eyes, it's a focal point. You go there straight away. You it wouldn't suddenly dawn on you. You wouldn't be like, this is weird. Oh God, they've got black eyes. It's the first thing you'd notice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
100%.
totally. I totally agree with you.
So myth busted.
Myth busted. This. I mean, what's interesting is that this is very modern. This is from like 1996. Is that right? 1996. Yeah, 1996. But then, like, you know, it's also come up in other things. So online forums became hotbeds for sharing similar encounters. Websites dedicated to paranormal phenomena featured numerous accounts, expanding the legend's reach. And then, you know, mainstream media picks it up. Social media platforms like Reddit also continued the legend on and things like that. This is one of those ones that I've talked about in our previous episodes, is the idea of like, you look at websites and you're getting this information and it's total fuckery. It's stupid to the point of like, you know, it's saying, oh, allegedly this or apparently this, and that's all the information you get. It's a bit like hokey, to be honest with you. Most of the information you can get beyond like the most basic is nonsense, really. All it is literally like one person's gone, oh, a child with black eyes tried to get a lift off me, and that's literally it. But like, you know, it's interesting the way in which it's been worded in websites and stuff. So here's one thing again. Because the black-eyed children rarely succeed in getting inside a house, their full powers remain hidden. There's no powers.
This is
There's
so
nothing.
muggy as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like, nobody wants them in. Kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Just somebody let them in, right? Like, just let them.
I would let them in just to fucking find out what happens, to be honest with you. It's nothing.
And then record it.
Yeah. Witnesses have reported enough strange happenings around these children to suggest they have incredible powers. So,
yeah, no one's let them in, so they don't know what they can do.
Yeah, but they're like, you know, they're making up stories. First, they probably have some form of psychic or telepathic abilities. Witnesses have reported the children staring at each other as if in silent communication and calling out to adults before they came into view. And they have tracked some individuals from town to town, despite the individual moving in secret, changing his phone number, using a fake name, etc. It's nonsense. It's just stories on the internet.
That's that person being like, oh, well, I've actually seen them 6 times. It's you know.
Yeah.
It's people trying to be important in urban legend, isn't it?
Now, what's interesting is that there's a UK version of this. So there's alleged black-eyed children sightings. In 2014, multiple witnesses reported seeing 2 children with coal black eyes near the Birches Valley forest. Okay. Locals described a feeling of intense dread, and the children reportedly appeared suddenly and vanishing just as quickly, leaving the observers shook, very scared. Sorry, I tried to scare you then, Tom.
I was speechless. I had nothing to...
Absolutely.
Nothing to add.
Absolutely. But these sightings are then connected to something that happened in the 60s and 70s. Okay? So, in 1965, a 6-year-old girl vanished on her walk to school.
So this is America, right?
No.
Oh, is this in England?
This is in Staffordshire, England.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Or
lots of stuff goes down in Staffordshire.
Oh, yeah. Where is Staffordshire? Up north?
I always thought it was a southern county.
Okay. It's up north, southern. So it's interesting where it's morally, better educated, perhaps. Like in the centre.
Oh, right. Okay. We're going there, are we?
In the centre, there's less of this nonsense.
The dumb little northerners making up their little Robin Hoods.
And southerners.
Bullshit.
Not just the northerners. You're all stupid. No.
So basically, anyone outside of London and Oxford and Cambridge, get to fuck. You're all dumb.
Anyway. Or there's more mysterious mystique.
So if
there's more magic.
If you're in Hobunk fucking nowhere, that's where it all goes down.
That's where all the fairy tales and magic lives. Yeah. Anyway, so Margaret Reynolds, this is an actual person. Okay, so solemn. All right, this person actually died. Okay. A 6-year-old girl vanished on a walk home from school. And then in the same year, another young girl, a 5-year-old Diane Tift. She left her home to go to visit her grandmother, but she never arrived. Sounds like, what's the word? Red Riding Hood, but, that is life.
Yeah.
It's all attached to real things.
It's all based on actual events, isn't it?
So in 1966, when the dead body of a girl was found in a ditch in Cannock Chase, they also found another body underneath that as well. So there was 2 lifeless little girls that had been stacked on top of each other.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's a serial abductor, serial killer, etc. So in 1967, a man approached a 7-year-old Christine Darby. And then Christine was also never seen again. So that is 4 children, okay, that are connected in some way. Unless I'm getting that mixed up. And maybe it's suggesting that Diane Tift and Margaret Reynolds, the first 2 children, were the ones that were stacked on top of each other. Then there's a third one, which was Christine Darby. So shortly after this, so in 1967, a local resident spotted a man in a green and white Corsair attempt to abduct another girl. And this was a man called Raymond Morris, a local factory worker. At the time, the police didn't have enough evidence to actually arrest Morris for any crimes, but they eventually managed to send him to trial for the murder of Christine Darby. So what they're suggesting is that they were all connected.
Yeah.
All these murders. And, it was Raymond Morris, etc. He essentially, died in prison, for one person's murder. But anyway, what they essentially...
charged with one?
Huh? He was only charged with one. But that's often the case, isn't it? You suspect someone.
Yeah, they don't always.
Yeah. So that essentially brewed a legend of the black-eyed child of Cannock Chase. Or essentially these children, that you see the sightings of 2014 in the forest and stuff like that we mentioned. People have claimed to witness phantom sightings. They've all said that the girl or girls had no eyes, but 2 dark orbs instead of them. And locals apparently believe that Christine Darby spends her eternity wandering through the trails and that she cannot see because Raymond Morris put a blindfold on her before killing her.
Do you know what I don't like about when we... And it was, a little bit similar to Mothman, wasn't it? With the idea of...
looking at a tragedy.
Looking at a tragedy. you're not giving the family that are grieving a chance to actually move on.
Yeah,
because it's becoming
a legend,
like a legend.
It's crazy, isn't it?
You know, then it solidifies in local legend, and constantly talking about this horrible thing and trying to attach supernatural elements to it. I'm absolutely fine if we're talking about the Bigfoot and and whatever, because there's no human tragedy element involved. But
you're making light of a situation.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you're trying to like connect the dots, but actually, what are you doing to that poor family who are going through the worst? I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yeah. You're making light of it, or you're adding ridiculous detail.
It just seems odd how people can't have that sort of empathy. But like, it goes all the way down. Like, you've got that all like local legends and stuff like that. We're talking about in the 60s. Do you know what I mean? Like, people should have thought better than to like make up that shit. Actually, no, these abductions happened in the 60s. So it would have been the 70s, and people were like, oh well, I mean, that dead child. Well,
realistically, they're kind of like, well, not their grandchildren, but people related to them by blood are still around in those areas.
Yeah.
It just feels unkind.
Yeah, totally. Unless they're creating the rumours themselves.
That kind of goes into a whole different kettle of fish, doesn't it?
Be.
That goes crazy.
I also find this sort of like lack of empathy is very similar to how shit journalists can be during a tragedy as well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, tampering with an investigation, releasing information before police are needing to, harassing the relatives and stuff.
Anything for a story, right?
It's all entirely fucked up. And people who do that should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. What a shocking way to make a living. It's crazy.
And the fact that we see it as a valid way to make a living as well.
Well, we venerate journalists. We basically say, oh, well, we need them. We need them. Otherwise, people aren't going to fucking know. And it's like, I agree. And there's no real...
But that's not the type of journalism that we have in this country at the moment.
Yeah.
We don't have think pieces. We don't have them. When was the last time it was like... I was watching Superman recently.
Yeah.
And at the end, it was the journalists who kind of got the right information out.
Oh, yeah.
When was the last time you read something in a paper and you were like, that solved something? It's usually just like rage bait, right?
Yeah.
It's all rage bait and designed for clicks and farming.
But I mean, it's the way in which the industry has changed. It's massively changed since social media, hasn't it? Like, they are literally just desperate for people to just click on the article so the adverts can be, perused. And that's all it comes down to at the end of the day. It's like, you can't get the most basic information from a headline or a blurb that goes along with the headline. You have to actually go in and read it and farm the information.
Spend time on there, see an advert or two.
Yeah, clickbait bollocks. Sensationalist clickbait bollocks.
And we're seeing the same in film.
Yeah.
Everyone is a sensationalist. It's either the worst thing they've ever seen, or it's the best thing they've ever seen.
Yeah, totally. You can't even take reviews into account because they just come across as parody.
Nothing can just be okay now. And I think it's sad. And I think it's bleeding into our subconscious as a society. But that's a whole different kettle. It's a whole different conversation, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think there's at least a couple of here that would make like an interesting sort of like short film or like a film in general.
Yeah.
That we've kind of looked at. I think some of the others that I want to look at today, if I've got time, that I have briefly mentioned when we first started doing these, would be like, good to do. But anyway, I'm going to leave that for a moment. I'm going to let you tell us your one that I'm waiting with a bated breath on, because you've been talking this up an awful lot.
I mean, I maybe might be in a situation where I've oversold this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm like? I'm a natural born snake oil salesman. Can't help myself.
Yeah.
I make everything sound like silky sexy.
Yeah, you certainly do.
It's the nature of me as a being. So I want to talk to you about the Loveland frog.
Of course. The silky, sexy Loveland frog.
Yeah. And we've talked about our proclivities of frogs.
We had a whole episode on frogs. Yeah. You haven't done that for any other animal.
We're frog people, I think.
We do like a good frog.
Like frogs. If we were to have a channel mascot, just be a guy in a frog suit.
I guess so. But that frog suit would be very sort of dirty, like he needs washing.
Yeah, well, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the reference, episode 16 fears.
Oh, he knows the number.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Mate. Still here.
All right.
I told you, when we do it back to back, I'm on a different fucking level.
Okay.
So, the Loveland frog is named because of where it was allegedly spotted originally.
Okay.
Loveland, Ohio.
My bedroom? Oh, no.
Brilliant.
The other one. Ohio.
The fact that a place is called Loveland,
yeah,
you know that shit's about to get weird.
They've got some really interesting naming traditions, as in none whatsoever. Point Pleasant, Loveland.
Yeah, and they're just the ones that we've covered today.
Yeah.
What's really funny is...
I mean, what have we got? Great Yarmouth.
Everything's dressed up to be like, oh, look at this Point Pleasant, such a great place, Loveland. And I bet some of these are right shitholes.
Yeah, totally. Loveland's ironically called that.
Yeah.
There's so much murder.
Yeah, I was going to say, so many people on Hinge not giving a fuck. But murder, that could be. So these creatures... because they are embedded in a modern Ohio folklore.
Yeah, the Loveland frog.
The Loveland frog, also known as Loveland frogman, or the Loveland lizard, because they like to be very specific. They like
anything.
They're usually humanoid frogs.
Right.
That are around 4 feet tall. So you know what that means, don't you?
The right height for a blowjob?
You're kind of in the right spectrum.
Okay.
They're the right height for roller coasters, baby.
Absolutely not in the same spectrum.
Yeah, like 1.2 meters tall is like the right height for most roller coasters.
Both will give you pleasure, I suppose.
Yeah,
carry on.
And you're going up and down on both of them, sometimes fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, allegedly spotted in Loveland, Ohio. What I find interesting about this is, it kind of gained popularity in 1972.
Okay.
And gained renewed attention when a Loveland police officer reported to a colleague that he had seen an animal consistent with the descriptions of a frogman.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of acting like it sort of happened in 1972 and that was the first time. But frogmen have always been something in our zeitgeist, right?
I suppose so.
Because you've got like bullywogs in D&D, and like we've talked about frogmen in history all throughout. So this isn't a new concept.
Yeah, okay. I sort of agree with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, this frogman could have born the idea that Gary Gygax used for bullywogs.
Yes.
In Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, and beyond there, like, anthropomorphic frogs, like, I mean, believe me, I look around for them, okay? Right. I don't really come across a lot of anthropomorphic frogs. It's like a frog god, and that's about it. Like,
oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So we could kind of say, like, there's some originality there. Weeks after the 1972 incident, though, they had identified a large iguana with a missing tail.
Right.
So they're kind of trying to make the connection there.
That's that done. There's no need to erect a museum in Loveland. That's it. That's it solved. Right?
In 2016, a second officer, so quite a long time after, called a news station to report that he had shot and killed the same creature some weeks after the 1972 incident.
Okay.
And that's where the tail
Are we sure that wasn't just an ethnic man?
An ethnic man? That's how you're going to put that across. Are we sure he wasn't an ethnic man?
And you put whatever prejudice you want on top of that. I'm just saying. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I get what you're saying about the police being like biased and you riffing on that. Wild. That was wild. That was completely out of nowhere. So, the University of Cincinnati's folklore professor, Edgar Slotkin, compared the Loveland frog to a character called Paul Bunyan. Now, this is not to be... it's not in the same realms as local legend, John Bunyan.
Yeah. We talked about John Bunyan very briefly, like in a previous episode, and in my head, in my head, I was like, should I mention maybe he's like related to Paul Bunyan? And I didn't. And now you've brought this up, and so I'm going, yeah, he's probably related. They're probably related.
I don't think he is related to Paul Bunyan, considering Paul Bunyan is a giant lumberjack.
Yeah, but think about it this way, okay? So, John Bunyan was around like the 12th century, 13th century. I don't know, like maybe 14th century. I don't know when he was around. But so he's around, yeah? And then time goes by and he's got to have had kids or bunions, like other bunions. Other bunions. And then they go off to the new world.
Isn't a bunion like...
Bunion is a malady on your foot.
Yeah, like a boil on your foot.
Yeah, an affliction on your foot. So he
had other bunions.
Absolutely.
So Paul Bunyan is a giant malady of the foot, confirmed.
Absolutely.
Myth busted.
Bigfoot.
Oh, it all connects.
Paul Bunyan is Bigfoot.
We're connecting dots here today. So maybe there's a connection. So the reason Edgar connected the two was he's saying that the stories were passed down for several decades and that sighting reports came in predictable cyclical cycles.
But I don't understand it. So Paul Bunyan, is Paul Bunyan a cryptid? Did people see Paul Bunyan?
No, so the connection that Edgar was trying to make, from what I can understand, is that kind of, Paul Bunyan was a giant lumberjack.
Yeah.
And folk hero, where his tall tales revolved around his superhuman
strength,
labours and strength, kind of like an American Hercules.
Yeah.
And he was accompanied by his pet and working animal, Babe the Blue Ox. Don't know why that's an important detail, but the character originated in North American loggers, traditions like stories passed down by the campfire.
Okay.
And was later popularized by a freelance writer, William B. Loghead.
And at what point did Stan Lee steal this?
I don't think he did.
No,
but there are cartoons and stuff about this. But essentially, sightings of like a giant lumberjack came in predictable cycles, very similar to sightings of the Loveland frog. So they were kind of making that connection there. Mm-hmm. About like different folklores and like it being the same sort of a handed down like story that gains more and more momentum, and we kind of see that as it goes. So in terms of going back to the Loveland frog, according to various legends, the creature was first sighted by a businessman, so not the police.
Yeah,
a man first sighted by a businessman.
No, a man who saw a business opportunity. Yeah. And let me guess. This guy ended up founding the Loveland Frog Museum.
You're full of cynicism today.
So's
go eat a bagel or something.
So's the Loveland Frog. Right?
So a creature was first sighted by a businessman. Or like in yours, a journalist, usually someone with stake in the game, right?
Yeah.
Driving along an unnamed road. See, this is the sort of details. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Around a late night. Oh.
Yeah.
We're not even given these chances now.
And he's wearing sunglasses.
In 1955, so quite late. And if I'm adding more skepticism, headlights weren't that great back then either, so even more of an obscured view. But here's the funny thing, and here's where the connection of Paul Bunyan comes in. The story changes so much depending on who's telling it. So this is why the connection's been made. So with some versions of the story specifying the month of May, in one story the driver was heading out of the Branch Hill neighbourhood when he spotted 3 figures standing on their hind legs along the side of the road, each 4 foot tall, with leathery skin and frogs. In another version of the story, the creatures were spotted under a poorly lit bridge, so there was no car involved at all.
Yeah.
In one version of the story, which is my absolute favourite version, one of the Loveland frogs had a wand, a giant wand, that kind of stretched over its head, and it fired sprays of sparks.
Okay.
So there's like 10, 15 different versions of all this same story, which is why the connection of Paul Bunyan was made. Then stuff started to solidify a little bit after the Loveland police reports we talked about earlier in 1972. Have a guess at what time the police officer reported these Loveland frogs.
2 a.m.
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
Really low light, dark, not really sure. So near a boot factory, near kind of like the Little Miami River, where unidentified animals scurried across the road in front of vehicles. The animal was fully illuminated by the vehicle's headlights, apparently, and described it as a 3 to 4 foot long and about 50 to 75 pounds with leathery skin. He reported spotting the animal crouched like a frog before it momentarily stood erect. Sorry, I'm a child. To climb over the guard. But yeah. Or Mr. Pedo Man at A24. Reference to other episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Over the guardrail and back down towards the river. So, back to its
What are they doing?
habitat.
All I know is at this point in time, they're just standing there. I want a bit more information. I don't believe that they're just standing there. What, menacingly? Are they just hanging out?
Well, wait for this. So 2 weeks after the incident,
he's probably never seen a teenager because it's the 50s. And
just
they just decided to come out.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? Is it maybe just a small kind of lad with like a skin condition? Because there are conditions that make your skin leathery and wrinkled and stuff. Is it just some old woman? She's just like scooting around, so
hanging around under a bridge.
A second Loveland police officer, Mark Matthews, reported seeing an unidentified animal crouching along the road in the same vicinity. So 2 weeks later, Matthews shot the animal,
of course, he did.
Recovered the body, and put it in his trunk to show Officer Shockey, which was the first one. According to Matthews, it was a large iguana, about 3 to 3.5 meters long, and he didn't immediately recognize it because it was missing a tail.
Nice. Okay.
Matthews speculated the iguana had been someone's pet that either got loose or was released when it grew too large. According to Matthews, Shockey was shown the dead iguana and confirmed it was the animal he had seen 2 weeks previously. Matthews recounted the incident
standing on its hind legs.
Yeah, it's a bit woolly, isn't it? But says the author omitted the part that confirmed that the creature was an iguana rather than a frogman. So according to the second officer, even the first officer said, yep, overgrown animal case, but that hasn't stopped the legend.
Yeah.
So even though police officers said, yep, no, it was a mistake, first person confirmed, got it all in writing, the author of that kind of insinuated that it was a frogman, an iguana that could be on its hind legs, which was not the case. And this has kind of come out in pop culture. There is a 2023 horror found footage film called Frogman that is on my list. So I'll watch that and I'll report back. But here we go. Are you ready? In 2023, the Loveland frog became the city's mascot.
Yeah.
You'll have to watch the other two parts to realise why we're pissed off about that.
Yeah.
Dressed as a frog prince, debuted at the city's second annual Hearts of Fire weekend celebration and appears at all of the other city events. So again, it's about putting a place that probably is quite, like a hodunk town on the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have spent some time reading an article because I'm a big brain now.
Yeah, okay.
Ever since we did that, last week, and I printed out that official article. So now
you've been looking at some journalistic articles.
Yeah, and I'm just like I'm above this now. I've gone beyond.
Yeah, okay.
So the article is named "Law of the Loveland Frog," and that is just what it is. Yeah. What I find interesting is that the author of the article is the author of the book, The Cryptozoologicon. What
journal is this article in?
It's a website.
Oh, okay. Better.
This is the bit I was excited about.
Brain's not that big, Tom.
So no, I was being really, really insincere when I was saying that.
Okay, fair
because
enough.
this is just like a random website, and it's by the guy that wrote the Cryptozoologicon in 2013, and the entire website is just about remembering my book. Oh, remember Volume 2's coming out, and honestly, the fucking leaps this guy makes is insane, and really shows me why, in general, although I like cryptids, I don't like the culture surrounding them. And this article is a great personification of that. So this article goes into depth about what the Cryptozoologicon is. So it's devoted to cryptids that, in its own assertion, is just mysterious animals.
Yeah.
So that's how they separate themselves from kind of like, you know, yokai spirits, supernatural phenomenon. They kind of say mysterious animals that we don't have much information on. And, you know, describing the cryptid and proposing how it might actually be explained, because most of the phenomenons are, you know, hoaxes. And you're thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be a really informative article then that really kind of just, you know, goes and talks about the iguanas. Fuck no, Carl! This article is batshit. Absolutely fucking batshit. So I want you to just have, this is a bit of homework for you. Remember how I said, by his own words, the Cryptozoologicon is devoted to cryptids that is mysterious animals, after describing a given cryptid, proposing how it might actually be explained. I want you to remember this, and at the end of this fucking journey, remember that that's what the article said.
Okay. I didn't understand it when you read it to me, but sure.
So basically, the premise is they are going to give a normal explanation of what this thing is, which we've already done.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough, I get that.
The normal explanation was, to recap, it was a large overgrown iguana, which can happen. Yep. You have mutations in genes. And basically an author who wanted to sell a book and put Loveland in the map omitted that really key detail. That is the story, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
That is fact, myth busted. But, so, talk a little bit more about the Loveland frog here, and they discuss and revisit the mystery, and they bring up different kind of things about kind of, you know, lots of different sightings.
Yeah.
And they've got lots of sort of drawn pictures, and talk about this idea of kind of like misappropriating animals, and talking about, you know, that it was like a big lizard. So you're like, okay, so, you know, why is the article another 10 pages? If we've already solved that, why does it keep going? And I'm just going to skip towards more the end, because like a lot of it is just going case by case and talking about like, oh, well, it's probably not this, but, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like blue balling you, so you read more of it. But then you get to what I find the most fascinating, like, interpretation of this I've ever come across. Because I was just reading, I was skim reading, and I literally, and I know I have a sort of like penchant for exaggeration.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm just going to verbatim tell you the realization that this person came up with. Okay? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't even know if I can get through this. So the realization is that it came from Squamous Mesozoic.
Squamous Mesozoic.
Yes. So the existence of a meter-tall bipedal reptile-like creature has to be regarded as fairly unlikely, especially when those reptile-like creatures are seen carrying mechanical devices that emit sparks. Hence that wand. Yeah. The real identity behind the creature is obvious, but only if we admit the reality of parallel universes.
Okay.
Just remember what we said at the start. We're looking for logical explanations. So not only parallel universes, but we have to accept the understanding of time travel.
Yeah.
And the ability of some creatures to somehow move between disparate points in space and time.
I mean, like, in the past, we just went, it's a shapeshifter. everything's a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Like, and that seems easier for me to comprehend than all of this nonsense.
This is something that was written like in 2020.
Yeah.
So, the Loveland frog was no giant humanoid frog at all, but actually a giant, vaguely humanoid lizard, and specifically one of the short-faced, big-brained iguanas from the parallel Earth of the Squamazoic.
Yeah. Okay.
So, again, I want you to remember what they said at the start. And it continues. On Squamazoic Earth, so there's no other evidence to suggest this Squamazoic Earth or how they got there or why it's called that or what this no evidence this parallel universe exists. They're just kind of throwing it out. Squamates, lizards, snakes, and amphibians evolved to be the dominant large-bodied animal fauna of the planet, and heightened intelligence evolved on several occasions.
Yeah.
We conclude that the Loveland frog is one of the intelligent American iguanas. We conclude that the Loveland frog is one of... sorry, I'm just... It's so batshit, I'm actually just repeating it. Presumably one that comes from a point in time somewhere in the future relative to our own position in the timeline.
Yeah. They keep trying... Like, I don't know if they've managed to do it yet, but they keep trying. If you look at the pre-production like sketches and stuff like that for different Jurassic Park films, they keep trying to bring in like evolved mutant like dinosaurs that are pretty much like humans, like anthropomorphic dinosaurs. They keep trying to do that. And like there's this thing, right, where if you're into conspiracy theories and things like that, like David Icke, pan-dimensional reptile aliens and things like that, there's a thing where they basically say that they're trying to get you to be okay with things. Yeah. So they basically, through media and stuff like that, they increase the amount that they'll suggest things. And so when they do that, you'll be more willing to accept this as reality if they keep adding this stuff in.
Bit of a stretch. So, again, this very scientific article that said it's about offering realistic things finishes as our conclusion that some mystery creatures encountered on Earth are actually travellers from parallel dimensions, was unashamedly inspired by the promotion of the same idea presented as a possibility in some of the mystery animal literature.
Yeah.
And clearly not contradicted by our understanding of the way that reality works.
Pan-dimensional reptile aliens, they built the pyramids. Yeah.
But yeah, like what a wild ride, right?
Yeah. I don't expect anything less from a place called Love Island.
Canonically Love Island. But that was a crypto scholar on Love Island.
I mean, what is a crypto scholar? I mean, to be fair,
the only ones I've read and thought, that makes sense, is like the crypto scholars that are skeptics. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, we should be looking at scientific versions of that, and most of the time, it's really easy to explain, isn't it?
I am going to just come in here, a little sneaky extra one in here.
Yeah, throw it in.
Before we finish up today. Jenny Greenteeth. You ever heard of Jenny Greenteeth? So, Jenny Greenteeth is a cannibal hag said to dwell in ponds, rivers, and stagnant pools. She pulls in unattended children or the elderly, dragging them beneath lily-covered surfaces. She's used even to warn children away from dangerous water. So there's a key story with Jenny Greenteeth, old
I can't take it seriously because we were talking about Wet Jenny earlier.
Well, this is what I was alluding to, is Wet Jenny.
And now it's just making me laugh.
In one account from the 1800s, a miller's child disappears after wandering too close to a pond in Wigan. Where's Wigan, Tom?
Wigan is the north.
Oh, is it? Well,
fuck off.
All they find are scrape marks and torn cloth. That night, the miller hears gurgling laughter from the water. Locals say Jenny had come for the child and would return if others weren't kept away. So it's very similar to like some of the yokai, the water-based yokai and other such things like that, because it embodies the danger of a natural space, and so you've got to be careful. Yeah.
And that's all they are, aren't they? They're cautionary tales to make sure that children don't go into those spaces unprepared, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't go into that body of water. The current's gonna. Oh well, they're not gonna listen to that. Oh, Jenny Greenteeth will get you.
Yeah. Or don't go down the mine, or the Tommy knockers will come. That sort of thing.
Tommy knockers.
They're Tommy knockers. So the name Jenny Greenteeth was closely linked to Lancashire, particularly in the southwest part of the country, as well as in Liverpool. So there's similar names as well in neighbouring counties as well. In Cheshire, where she's called Ginny or Jeannie Greenteeth, or simply Wicked Jenny. Her description of behaviour is notably similar to that of the Grindylow, another water spirit closely linked to northern England. You know the Grindylow?
I do, yeah.
You do? Tell me something about the Grindylow I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know that it's like popular in... I know there's films about it and books about it. Yeah,
interesting. I'm tempted to make a film about this. I think it would be really cool just to like have like some sort of police procedural where it's all up to the books and everything like that. Kid's gone missing. She's been dragged into the water and stuff like that. And then
that's the reveal at the end.
Yeah, and then there's a reveal of Jenny Greenteeth at the end.
That'd be cool.
Nice little short film. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Don't steal it. You in Virginia. Yeah, I know you're listening.
Well, you're just picking on that, Paul, isn't it?
or Tom's sister as well.
Yeah.
Are only two...
Who sometimes texts me and go, oh, you got that right, or you got that wrong. Did I ever tell you, I'm outing you, Sarah. She texted me after the Dante Inferno episode and was like, well, actually, because she lives in Rome, and gave me a list of like what we got right and what we got wrong.
Oh, really?
It's informative. But,
it's informative.
Yeah.
I am not interested in the truth, okay? Hence
just
why...
what we could Google.
Hence why we put that disclaimer on most of our episodes. Yeah. Don't keep us to the truth, all right? So yeah, Jenny Greenteeth is closely associated with bodies of water that are covered in duckweed.
Okay.
What do you know about duckweed?
Not a lot.
So
I imagine it's green and maybe gets in the teeth.
Yeah, you'd assume so. But duckweed is specifically that type of pond scum that covers water and still water that makes it look like you could walk on it.
Yes. Yeah.
And particularly during this time of year, which is like July, August, you've got it at this level. And it's crazy. If you're looking at something from a distance, it just looks like green floor. It's so intricate and stuff like that. So, yeah, and you would literally immediately lose your footing in this and you'd get taken under. So they say, careful around duckweed because Jenny Greenteeth will get you. And that way you've instead of telling the kids... Don't go near bodies of water because you will drown.
It looks solid, but it's not.
Yeah.
And you have well, who says? Maybe this one is solid.
Yeah. So it's basically, it's like a Bloody Mary sort of character, but it's about going near water instead of, repeating a name in a
But how terrifying,
bathroom mirror.
Like, if you just went in water and then this like old hag of a woman just pulled you down, that genuinely does want me to keep away from bodies of water.
I generally tend to keep away from bodies of water, except if it's a bath, to be honest with you. Okay. I can handle a bath.
Yeah.
Like, there's no Jenny Greenteeth in there.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Although I am reminded of that pivotal scene from The Shining, which kind of has like a Jenny Greenteeth of its own in a bath.
Yeah.
But never mind. So Jenny Greenteeth returned to the public consciousness in 2018. And is described as a ghost that haunts the St. James's Cemetery of Liverpool. So an Australian tourist drawn to the cemetery by the sightings on Facebook took a photograph which she claimed depicted a long-haired figure standing in an area of the cemetery overgrown with weeds and nettles. She was convinced that figure did not appear beforehand.
Right. An
Australian tourist. So yeah, there you go. There is Jenny Greenteeth.
I was once told a story by a family member it's always stuck with me. It's not necessarily like a cryptid type thing, but it is a little bit like supernaturally, and it might be a nice way to end the episode.
Yeah.
So I'll take you. It's in the north.
Yeah.
Before you start, and I'm pretty sure it was Wakefield or something similar.
Yeah.
Some similar place to that. And they were going there on a holiday. For context, the person who told me this was around my age at this time.
Okay.
Wasn't a kid, but had kids. So my cousins, because it was and they went, and the whole family tells me the same story, which is so strange. They went to this place and they saw a cabin like on a hill.
Yeah.
Right. It was kind of foggy, but they saw this cabin on the hill, and as they were going up, they were warned not to go there. Right, and so they thought it was really weird.
So that immediately is like every cliche of a horror film at this point in time. You don't want to go up there. There's a cabin on the hill.
That. Just like it's not good weather. Like probably don't want to go up there today.
All right.
Not no. So they were like, okay, well we'll go another day.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go see this like cabin because it looked quite grand on this hill.
Okay.
So they all saw it. They got a picture of it.
Yeah.
I've seen the picture.
Yeah.
And then when they went back, because they didn't manage to go.
Yeah.
So then they went back the next year, and the cabin was gone. Like, there was no
wait.
no cabin.
I thought you were going to say they went back the day after, but no, they went back next year. So a year's gone by.
so they were like, oh, it must have been knocked down. Right. They're like, there's never been a cabin there.
Nah, fuck off.
No, seriously, there's never been a cabin there.
Who said
and
that
they were
to
like,
them?
No, we've got a photo of it. And they were like, there's never been... And so they were asking around, and this cabin was never there.
Oh, there's never been a cabin over there on that hill. There's one over there, but there's never been one on that hill.
And then it was gone. So, look, I'm not saying there's not an explanation. I just thought it's a good thing to finish on.
And I am not saying that people up north are of lower intelligence. I'm not saying that either, Tom. All right? Yeah. That is just a cryptid, like, mythological legend.
Look, if you didn't want to hear my story, then don't fucking ask me to say it, all right? Well, what a shitty end.
I never did.
End to cryptids.
I never did. Look, you're smarter than me, okay?
That's not true.
That's because you're northern.
You're a dickhead.
You walked into that one. You could have said.
Well, if I was southern, I probably would have realised, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Old dumb fiddlesticks northern brain over here.
It's just the central areas that's cool. All right. The rest, the north and the south,
the ho-dunk villages, you're all fucking Neanderthals.
You know, my family's from Scotland. All right.
Right.
Okay. So like, I'm dumber than you.
Oh, so the further you go up or the further you go down?
I guess so. That's what I'm saying. That's the
central areas. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it. Yeah. Okay. That's logic that is in play.
So I'm cool then, yeah.
So what a way to end our episode with like offending most people.
We've looked at cryptids. We've looked at yokai now.
Yeah.
There's definitely some interesting parallels there to make. I'm sure people have been making those parallels as you've listened to 6 bumper episodes about this topic. Any ideas what we're going to do next?
No.
Psychopomps.
Oh, yes, you did say.
We'll do that. That's nice. That's a nice little segue into
Stupid deaths. It's funny because it's true. From Horrible Histories, don't sue us.
Oh, no, I've never come across Horrible Histories. I don't know what that is.
Ever?
No. I remember the books. I never watched the TV show. Oh,
well, next week, Horrible Histories review. Season 1 to 9.
I'll tell you something that I did the other day, right? This is a story, right? I'm pleased with this, okay? I checked all my library books to make sure that they were ready to go back, okay? I had 10 and the list said 11. I was looking through there. There's one book in there. It's from local history, like a children's section of local history, right? A children's book about like, you know, the origins of my town, where I'm from and everything. It's not there in my books. So, like a lot of people will probably have to find out, if you're in this situation where you've taken a book back and you've not managed to actually like beep it through the barcode, I had to scour that library for the original book. And I managed to do it. Obviously, it was relatively easy because of the what's the word? The number on it.
I was going to say, because it's all coded.
Because it's all coded. But it's just really fucking annoying that there's no way otherwise, like, people are going to fine you if you don't go to the library and find that book yourself.
But how do you know that was the one you returned?
I don't. But when I put it through to return it, it all worked out swimmingly. So it's all good. So...
Book Thief Carl, everyone. Say goodnight to Book Thief Carl.
So my lesson to all of you is when you've got a big stack of books, just put them through one after the other to make sure that
if you don't, just pretend, go get the library one that's already there.
And if you don't, do some crime.
Yeah. Do some...
Or you'll pay for it.
Go be good, do some crime. See you next week.
Crime doesn't pay, but also not doing crime... you have to pay.
Right.
Thanks for listening. Here's a disclaimer. We are not experts. We can easily get things wrong in an episode. Our intention is to explore and open up the possibilities for further exploration. Come find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. We would love some interaction. Also, if you can consider supporting us on Patreon, that would help a bunch. Search for 2, that's number 2, Strange Men Pod, all one word. Until next time, keep it strange.